What up, Gotham Guardians and Arkham Adversaries? It's your boy Trey of the Bat Channel. Just got back from the movie theaters checking out DC's latest film and possibly the first entry in the new DCU Blue Beetle. Before we begin our spoiler-free review, make sure to smash that like, share our video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel and become a part of our battalion community. I gotta be honest, I'm conflicted about this film. I can't tell if I liked it or if I'm just indifferent about it. When I saw the trailer, I was actually really excited. The suit looked perfect. They had the perfect casting choice for Jaime Reyes with Zolo Maridueña, and it was a character I really didn't know a ton about other than what I've seen in things like Young Justice, the DC Animated Universe, the Injustice video games, and a couple of comic book appearances when I've checked out the Justice League comics. Other than that, I really didn't know a ton about Blue Beetle and the different versions of the character that ranged all the way back in 1939 when he was first introduced in Fox Comics with Dan Garrett donning the suit, and then it was passed down, I think, mid-1960s with Ted Kord, and eventually with the latest iteration of the character in the early 2000s with Jaime Reyes' version, which is the version that this film focuses on. The film had this wonderful opportunity to give us something new, different, and fresh. And while there were things culturally different and intriguing about this particular character in this cinematic portrayal, I found myself, I'll put it this way, I personally believe that superhero fatigue wasn't really a thing. It mostly would just come down to bad storytelling or unsatisfying character arcs. I realized in the middle of watching this film, I may have been wrong about my initial assumption of superhero fatigue not existing. The story really just followed the same superhero formula I've seen time after time again with especially MCU style films. And this was another entry in the superhero genre that really didn't feel any different. We started and ran down the same path and plot points that most of these films do, to the point where my brother-in-law, who I saw the movie with, Fresto, who's been on our show before, definitely check out his channel, his link will be in the description below, but he actually called out some things that were obviously going to happen, and I thought the same, and sure enough they did. There was really nothing that made the experience of this brand new character different story event wise other than the cultural differences, which in some cases I felt they did a wonderful job, especially for those of us who aren't knowledgeable in the Latin American culture. There were even things that went right over my head. I'm sure the Hispanic community probably gave them a good laugh. In a lot of ways, it felt that this movie wasn't made for me or general audiences. This story belonged to the Hispanic community, and that's wonderful because it creates a whole new dynamic to the superhero universe, but almost so much that I felt it could potentially alienate a wider audience that Blue Beetle as a character might not catch the fire or hype that it deserves. I mean, story and tonally wise, it's very lighthearted, it's fun, it's colorful, but it's definitely a teenager film. I wouldn't recommend it for young children audiences. Man, there's some good laughs in this movie for sure. Some of the political commentary they kind of really threw in your face, it kind of took me out of it, out of the experience of it a little bit. There's definitely some DC universe references, so for my fellow DC fans, there's some Easter eggs there for you, some names referenced throughout the movie, so make sure you're paying attention. Who knows what it will lead to for Blue Beetle in the future, but some possibilities there. For the character performances, like I said, Zolo Maridueña, this guy was perfect for Jaime Reyes. You couldn't have gotten someone better for it. And he really does nail it in all aspects, from the lightheartedness, the humor that definitely has that youth and innocence to his character. Another strong point of character performances is the entire family. The chemistry with the family and Zolo is just absolutely wonderful, from the sister, the mother, Nana, who is hilarious and kind of crazy. For those who have seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. Nana is a badass, don't mess with that woman. In a way, she's almost so much comedic and badass that you couldn't suspend your disbelief of what is happening there, because it almost takes you out, because that's outlandish and ridiculous, but you know what, it's hilarious at the same time. George Lopez, man, it is good to see him back on the big screen. He is easily one of the best parts of this movie, and in some cases he's weirdly the weak part of it too, because he is so damn funny that it felt almost over the top and too much. There was a few moments where pulled back on the comedy a little bit, and it'll make those comedic moments that were really strong hit harder rather than some of the jokes fall flat. The father and son relationship between Jaime Reyes and Alberto Reyes, that was one of the most relatable and emotional parts of this film that I really appreciated. I really loved those scenes. For the Jenny Cord character, she's great. There's not a ton that she really does throughout this film. She's not the focus, but I get the sense that they are really setting her up to have a bigger story, a bigger background, maybe in the sequel, and I would love to see where they go with that. And obviously the chemistry that she has with Jaime Reyes' character, Susan Sarandon. Holy cow. I did not know she could be so damn evil. She is probably one of the cruelest, meanest, heartless, whatever you want to say, villains I've ever seen in a superhero film. They kind of give it an element that I've never seen before, which is a bit of racism. Oh, we're going there. We're doing that. Like, okay. Like, that's interesting. I don't know how I feel about it, but it definitely says that is a horrible person and we should not like them. And of course, her muscle Carapax, like that dude, he had a very interesting character arc where he is a formidable force that you do not want to mess with. Overall, my general thoughts are the suit was awesome. A true highlight, and as a DC fan, when you see a suit of that comic book accuracy, you're like, chef's kiss. You couldn't be happier when you see something like that. So the major double plus on that one for the costume design team. The action was pretty good. It wasn't the greatest like superhero fight scenes I've ever seen. There was a particular hallway battle scene towards the end of the movie that I felt like, yeah, that's some cool stuff going on there. The family chemistry was one of the highlights of this film. One thing I will say, I mean, you guys know me being the big music guy that I am. The music was freaking epic. Holy cow, I was surprised by that. I've never heard of this composer before, but Bobby Krilic just did a phenomenal job. It was very digital sounding, spacey. There was just some cool themes going on. It was very different from what I've heard of a superhero score before. And I just wish the Blue Beetle theme was more prominent, like they used it more. This might be a score that the soundtrack that I'll buy on iTunes. I might actually do that. So that says a lot for me if I'm gonna go out and buy a soundtrack. When it comes to the criticisms I have with the comedy, the political commentary, following a certain story formula that I've seen time and time again, to where it just didn't feel fresh and new. Everything was familiar. I felt like I had seen this movie many times already. It just didn't bring anything new to the superhero genre other than the cultural differences, which like I said, was intriguing and interesting. I really appreciated that. I would probably score Blue Beetle because I'm indifferent about it. I know the score is probably gonna be lower than people are expecting, but I'm honestly, my initial reaction is gonna be a 6.7 out of 10. It still means a film that's worth checking out. I don't know if if the movie's on TV, I don't know if I'll stop what I'm doing to watch it like some other superhero films that I really enjoy, but it was just kind of like, it's good. There's some good things happening, and there's some things that are just like, yeah, I'm indifferent about this film. I know, seen on Rotten Tomatoes, this film is doing really well with the audience score there, so I would love to hear from those people who are just absolutely in love with this film. Let me know in the comments, what did you guys think about? What would you score? What are some of the highlights of this film for you? Maybe it'll change my thoughts about it. It could be a film that grows on me after each viewing, but just from my initial reaction, it was kind of bland, which I'm sad about because I really wanted to enjoy this movie on, a grand level, to see this character continue, because I think it'd be great to see a Blue Beetle sequel of however that character grows, especially with someone like Zolo at the helm to really lead it through this next chapter. I can't wait to hear your guys' thoughts. Definitely let me know what you think in the comments, but make sure you smash that like, share this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. I'm your host Trey, and don't forget to tune in weekly, same bat time, same bat channel.